The Home Affairs Committee was meeting with police chiefs to discuss the policing of protests specifically, and Assistant Commissioner Matt Duke said that the 7th of October in Israel represents the most significant loss of British life in a terrorist act since 2017. And as a result, of course, there have been those mass protests going on in the UK and a massive spike in anti-Semitism as well. And these things, combined with a few other factors, meant that Britain is indeed now on alert for various different types of terrorism. He said that there are 852 ongoing live counter-terror investigations, and those are from before the 7th of October. In the period since the 7th of October, he said there's been a 12-fold increase in the public referrals to the police of online material. And from over 2,500 such referrals, around 500 actually require investigation as potential breaches of UK-based terrorism legislation. And also, he said there have been calls to anti-terrorist hotlines, which have doubled, yielding a significant amount of what he called useful information as a result. Overall, there's been an increase of around 25% in the intelligence flowing through counter-police terrorism policing. Alarmingly, Assistant Commissioner Dukes also said that as well as the extraordinary nature of the protests in the UK and a vast amount of hate crime, there's also the ongoing challenge posed by hostile state actors. He said that we're in an extraordinary period in terms of those features all coming together at the same time.
Yeah, and this is a very interesting part of this announcement, Jonathan, because the police official is talking about concerns over this role of foreign state actors stoking division in Britain, even not specifically perhaps utilizing the sentiments when it comes to the war here in Israel, but talking about the attempt to create division in Britain, foreign state actors as in Iran.
Yes, indeed. Since January last year, he said that 15 threats to life associated with Iranian state aggression in the UK had been disrupted, and that he expected that to be more acute going into 2024. He said that the police had disrupted nearly 40 terrorist plots since 2017. Now, Assistant Commissioner Matt Twist also spoke. He said that what we're seeing in London is the biggest convergence of threats we've seen for a very long time. Those are his words. He said the scale of the policing challenge is enormous, and the impact on Jewish communities in London has been particularly acute, with huge rises in anti-Semitic crime. He said there have also been rises in Islamophobic offences, and that the greatest period of sustained pressure on the Met since the Olympics in 2012 is right now as a result of these sorts of threats. He said that they have over 800 open hate crimes, with over 6,000 hours of officer time going into investigating all of those crimes. And in fact, anti-Jewish crime is up 680% according to the police year on year. Anti-Muslim crime up 140% year on year. He said that we seem to have a pattern that coincides with those national protests. So he did say that those protests are seeing spikes in anti-Semitic reports at the weekends when the protests are held. The police said that they were unable to spot and deal with all the offences in the protests as they were basically outnumbered. There weren't enough police compared to the crowds. They'd like the protest organisers, they said, to do more, or to clearly call out unacceptable and potentially illegal behaviours at the events, because on every occasion so far, according to the police, they found offences of hate crime, supporting proscribed organisations, and people looking to intimidate others. And they admitted that at the start, they were relying on social media to spot offences after the protesters had ended. And effectively, that's leaving the job to the public, so that the police were then chasing people they'd seen on social media who'd been in the protests. But now they say they're using social media themselves and enhanced CCTV during the protests to act faster.